Declassified documents reveal the US government wasn't just aware of certain events, it played a part. Welcome to Unseen Truth All Time. Today, we uncover 5 declassified US secrets they hide, dark truths only recently brought to light, from hidden operations to decisions that changed lives in silence. These are secrets the public was never meant to see.
It was supposed to be a controlled test, just another launch, another calculation made behind closed doors. But in 1970, something went terribly wrong. The US military fired a test rocket from Utah aimed toward New Mexico. It was meant to follow a precise path across the American desert. Instead, it veered off course, silently, dangerously, disappearing from where it was supposed to land. This wasn't an ordinary rocket. It carried radioactive isotopes, enough to contaminate land, enough to turn it into what experts would later describe as a salted bomb, a weapon designed not to explode cities, but to poison the ground itself. The rocket didn't fall in the United States. It landed in Mexico's Mapimi Desert. For a time, the public was told nothing. No warnings, no alerts, just silence. While officials worked behind the scenes, radioactive material sat exposed in foreign soil, carried by wind, sand, and time. There was no enemy attack, no declaration of war, just a mistake with consequences that didn't respect borders. Today, the documents are declassified, the incident is acknowledged, but the desert remembers what the headlines never showed, and the question still hangs heavy in the air. If a radioactive weapon can simply vanish once, what else has gone missing without anyone ever being told?
They called it a mission, but in My Lai, it became a nightmare. In 1968, American soldiers entered a small Vietnamese village, and what happened next would haunt history. Hundreds of unarmed civilians were murdered. Children, families, mothers and fathers torn from life in a single day. The population of the village, no more than 300 to 400 souls, was almost wiped out. Very few, if any, survived. The world didn't know, not yet. A year later, photojournalist Ron Haberly published the images in a Cleveland newspaper. Faces of innocents destroyed. The horror laid bare. The photographs shocked the globe. Outrage erupted. Questions about morality, power, and war consumed the public consciousness. This wasn't just a battle, it was a tragedy that revealed the darkest corners of human conflict. And it left an unhealed scar on history, a reminder that some secrets, once exposed, can never be forgotten.
They told Americans it was sudden, a revolution that came out of nowhere, a shock no one could have predicted. That wasn't the truth. In 1979, Iran exploded into upheaval. The Shah, America's longtime ally, backed by US power and intelligence, was overthrown. In his place rose Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a figure the United States would soon call an enemy. The official story was simple: America lost control. But declassified documents tell a quieter, more uncomfortable story. Before the revolution succeeded, Khomeini had secretly reached out, not to enemies, but to the United States itself. Behind closed doors, messages were passed, negotiations explored, transitions discussed. Contacts were made during the Kennedy years. Again, under President Carter, power was shifting, and Washington knew it. What followed wasn't chaos, it was calculation. As the Shah fell, more than a government collapsed. 2,500 years of Persian monarchy ended in a single moment. An ancient line of kings vanished. A nation crossed a point of no return. For Iranians, it meant exile, imprisonment, and lives permanently divided. For Americans, it meant decades of tension, fear, and unanswered questions. And for history, it meant a truth kept quiet until the files were opened. Because when revolutions feel sudden, it's often because the real decisions were made in silence. And if the end of an empire can be negotiated in secret, what else has already been decided without anyone watching?
They said it was just another Cold War mission. They didn't tell the truth, because if Americans had known the danger lurking in Greenland, it would have terrified the nation. It was 1968. The United States Army maintained a secret base in Thule, Greenland, a frozen outpost at the edge of the world. One of their B-52 bombers, armed with nuclear weapons, went down near the base, and then the cover-up began. The Army claimed the bombs were recovered, but later, documents revealed they lied. One nuclear bomb was never found. Imagine that. A weapon of unimaginable power lost in the Arctic ice. The soldiers, the base, the entire operation shrouded in secrecy. The public had no idea what was really at stake. Today, the files are open. The bomb's fate remains a chilling reminder, and one question lingers. If a nuclear weapon could vanish, how many other secrets are buried, waiting to be discovered?
They didn't call it treason back then. They couldn't, because if Americans had heard this in real time, it would have broken the country. It was 1968. The Vietnam War was tearing the United States apart. Every night, television screens showed body bags coming home. Tens of thousands of Americans were already dead. And inside the White House, President Lyndon B. Johnson was desperately trying to end it. Peace talks were moving forward. For the first time in years, there was a real chance the war could stop. And then, quietly, it was stopped. Not by an enemy, but by a man running for president. Richard Nixon, still a private citizen, secretly interfered with the negotiations. Through back-channel messengers, South Vietnam was urged to walk away from peace. Nixon promised them something better later, after the election. The message was simple: wait, let the war continue. President Johnson found out. Secret tapes reveal his anger, his disbelief. He called it treason. But exposing the truth meant exposing illegal surveillance, FBI and NSA wiretaps, so Johnson stayed silent, and the country never knew. Meanwhile, American soldiers kept fighting. Families kept answering knocks at the door. Flags were folded. Lives were buried. Peace had been close enough to touch, and it was pushed aside for power. Those recordings are public now. The files are declassified, but the damage was already done. And even today, one question refuses to disappear. If a secret this devastating could be hidden once, what truths are still being buried now?
If you want more hidden truths, more secrets the world wasn't meant to know, subscribe to Unseen Truth All Time and turn on notifications. History doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers. Don't miss what comes next.